Chi volunteers welcome the new year by spreading love to Bosnian care recipients. Osaka Tzu Chi volunteers visit homeless people to provide hot meals for them in the winter. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Maggie Tsai. Thank you for joining us. In 2014, Bosnia was hit hard by flooding on St. Enoch's Cemetery, submerging one-third of the country underwater. Tzu Chi volunteers in Europe have launched cross-border assistance for more than 5 years, and they have developed a close relationship with the Bosnians. This year, they also hosted a year-end blessing ceremony to spread love to the Bosnians.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Europe travel to Bosnia once again to host a year-end blessing ceremony. With many years of cooperation experience, they work well together preparing for the event. The venue is a theater, where local music teachers lead students to sing to express gratitude. The traditional dance shows the simplicity and happiness of the local Bosnians.
It's very special, like in the past few years. Tzu Chi has brought us positive energy. We can feel their love. No matter where they are, they will bring love there.
Through the film, the flooding in 2014 is still vividly remembered. European Tzu Chi volunteers help with disaster relief and developed a close relationship with the Bosnians. To those survivors, each gathering is very meaningful.
To me, Tzu Chi is the only organization in the world that people get along with each other regardless of religions.
It impresses me that there are such people like you that put the needs of others first. You don't think about yourselves. You are so empathic, and you want to bring the whole world together. I was wondering how the people would react, but reading about your God and thinking about my God brings me to the same thing, which is love. So if you believe in love, we believe in the same God.
The sense of love pile up, and the members of public respond enthusiastically to donate. They learn from the volunteers to bow down and bless each other, spreading their love to the needy irrespective of religions.
As the Lunar New Year approaches, Shanghai Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized 100 people to hold activities for care recipients. Many care recipients seize the opportunity to express their gratitude to Tzu Chi volunteers.
As the Lunar New Year approaches, Tzu Chi volunteers hold activities for care recipients. Volunteers hold trays and walk to the tableside to serve Jingsi tea. The performer plays a string instrument. A care recipient performs Xinjiang dance for the Lunar New Year.
Tzu Chi gave me clothes for almost 10 years now. I wear it in the winter. In the past 10 years, Tzu Chi has helped us a lot. I'm very happy that they came here.
Sitting in the audience, Mr. Zhou, who has leukemia and ankylosing spondylitis, once isolated himself.
When I first came here, I resisted their help. They keep giving through their actions, which spreads positive energy. I think a lot of people need help. Therefore, I think coming in contact with Tzu Chi is a good thing.
My son's illness improved. From January 2015 to now, when we are having difficulties, Tzu Chi volunteers came to our home. They are closer to us than our families.
There's also free haircut services on site. Tzu Chi mobilized more than 100 volunteers to help out. In the new year, this love and compassion will continue to warm up people's hearts.
To care for seniors, Tzu Chi volunteers have offered senior classes in different communities. In Central care recipient, Grandma Agui often felt depressed because of her family problems in the past. However, after joining the senior class, she has learned new skills and become more optimistic.
At the achievement exhibition of the senior class, Grandma Agui is dancing happily on the stage. As a role model in the class, she has not missed a class.
She would ask me to bookmark the days of the class, mark it on the calendar, so that I will remember to go to class tomorrow.
In the past, Grandma Agui worried about her daughter, who's a single mother caring for 3 children. Since her daughter's youngest son is mentally challenged, Grandma Agui will help out and feel exhausted both physically and mentally.
She had a hard time taking care of my younger child. Her health is not that good, and she feels a bit depressed.
Upon learning of this family's difficulties, Tzu Chi volunteers help relieve their financial burden. 2 years ago, they also invited Grandma Agui to join the senior class at Tzu Chi grounds. In addition, volunteer Sun Meiqing even accompanied Grandma Agui as she attended classes.
She found an outlet for her emotions. She learned to cook, arrange flowers, make handbags, and make artificial flowers. She was learning happily.
I say that going to Tzu Chi is like going home. I say that is our home.
At Tzu Chi Central Grounds holds a year-end reunion. Grandma Agui also came with her family. With the support of the big Tzu Chi family, they have more confidence to face the future.
In Malaysia, a nurse at Tzu Chi Dialysis Center in Butterworth has disabled herself to the nursing job for 20 years. Since 8 years ago, she started to work at Tzu Chi Dialysis Center. Although dialysis treatment is repetitive, she's still mindful when serving the patients because she's passionate of helping people.
In fact, I participated in St. John Ambulance when I was in high school. Therefore, I began to like the nursing job back then.
With passion for helping people, Huang has been active in charity organizations since high school. However, for her first job, she chose to become a nurse at a private hospital rather than a charity organization.
Dialysis treatment is repetitive and boring. Therefore, I did not choose to work in a dialysis center. I went to work at the cardiology department, where we are always working at a fast pace.
After working at a job for 12 years, Huang transferred to serve at its Tzu Chi Dialysis Center 8 years ago.
Dialysis treatment is long-term care. You will see the patients 3 days a week. Therefore, you can care for him wholeheartedly, caring for his physical and spiritual needs.
Although nursing job is busy, Huang did not forget her initial aspiration for helping people. She has also inspired the patients and colleagues at the dialysis center.
Besides work, she has to take care of 2 children at home. We often look up to her. Sometimes when I got lazy and did not want to go to the dialysis center, I would think of how she comes to work riding a motorcycle. Therefore, she inspires us.
She helps the patient self-study. It's worth learning from.
Huang has taken actions to prove that fulfilling one's duties for work and family is possible when one is determined to help people.
Tomato is a well-loved fruit. There is a rumor spreading on the internet that eating too many tomatoes when on an empty stomach will cause bloatings because the tomato has soluble estrogen that, when combined with gastric acid, will cause flatulence and abdominal pain. Here's the nutritionist's opinion.
Tomato is a vegetable and also a fruit. It contains lycopene, which can help resist oxidation. There's a rumor being widely spread on the internet that tomatoes have soluble estrogen, which will cause adverse effects with gastric acid. Eating tomatoes on an empty stomach can cause flatulence. Is this really believable?
After eating tomatoes, I won't feel hungry and my stomach won't feel bloated. I feel quite comfortable instead.
Sometimes I will prepare after-meal fruits when cooking. I will wash the tomatoes first and eat some at the same time. Whether it's before or after meal, I feel about the same.
The nutritionist dissects the rumor, so we aren't misinformed.
Tomatoes contain a lot of dietary fiber, vitamins, minerals, etc., but not a lot of soluble estrogen. Everyone should eat without worry.
Tomato can be eaten before or after meals, yet eating the right amount is the key point. The nutritionist reminds that small potato is high in sweetness and should be eaten in moderation by diabetes patients. At the same time, it is also a high potassium food. Even if it is very delicious, patients with kidney disease should not eat too much.
Osaka is Japan's Kansai region's largest city economic center, but in downtown Nishinari Ward, there are many homeless people living on the streets. Since April of 2017, Osaka Tzu Chi volunteers have been serving them hot meals alongside a partnership with an NPO once a month. Let's look at their recent visit.
Washing the carrots one by one before cutting it into cubes. The pumpkin is also getting the same bite-sized treatment. These are the kitchen duties for Osaka Tzu Chi volunteers who have been serving hot meals to the homeless since April of 2017. It's now been more than 2 years.
In the beginning, we were unable to get close to them for them to accept Chi-Chi's unconditional care, but we were patient with them. Each month we would come back with a meal to warm them, and in about a year, results started coming in.
The results the volunteers spoke about is the reciprocation of the homeless friends. During March of last year, when donations were asked to help the suffering in Eastern Africa for Cyclone Idai, Osaka Tzu Chi volunteers had donation boxes out during the hot meal distribution, and many responded in kind.
Even though they don't have much money, they were still very willing to contribute their giving heart.
The care campaign for the homeless by Tzu Chi volunteers from Osaka has inspired many community volunteers to join, such as Niu Hengyi, who was originally from Beijing, China. This is his 6th time to join the nighttime homeless care activity.
After joining these activities, I've realized being charitable doesn't mean one needs to have a lot of money to do a grand act of kindness. I think by doing a little or something that I can do well is okay too. Or events like this where if you don't have money to spare, you can donate your time. I think these are all ways of being charitable.
As the night falls, rain also follows, and it is cold. But the volunteers continue to pass out hot beverages to the homeless who didn't come to the distribution event, hoping to warm up these recipients.
我们希望能够再更加一步的，或许以后是不是能够把他们带出来？好，我们会今后会朝这方面再更努力。
At a market featuring recycled products, teachers and students were amazed to see Tzu Chi blankets made from plastic bottles. Volunteers also adapted the traditional Filipino shrimp sauce into a vegetarian version and used it on the rice noodles, which impressed many of the students.
A plate of good food with a vegetarian shrimp sauce wins praise of those who try it.
For me, it was really good, especially knowing that it's meat-free. At first, I didn't really know it was meat-free, but then when I tasted it, it tasted exactly like the same as like regular palabok.
I was shocked because when I eat palabok, there's always meat and some seafood, and I wanted to try.
The Xavier School holds a recycling market, and Tzu Chi is invited to set up a booth there to promote environmental protection. People bring their own eating utensils to support it.
Hello. Yeah, okay.
People are also amazed by how recyclables can be used.
A lot of the Xavier community, faculty and students alike, were very impressed that socks are repurposed into seat covers, rugs.
If we throw these things out, we'll produce a lot of garbage, so we found ways to extend their lives, as they can be made into many useful things.
Without wasting any of the Earth's resources, Tzu Chi volunteers hope to inspire people to do recycling in daily life.
Now we continue to look back at Tzu Chi's major events that took place on both May and June of 2019.
In May, to honor Buddha Day, Mother's Day, and Tzu Chi Day, Tzu Chi volunteers in Taiwan held Buddha Day ceremonies across the island, including Hualien, Taipei,
庄严盛大的一个法会，现在只有自己结合更多的善念。
彰化
问讯礼
and Daja. The Buddha Day ceremonies were also held in other parts of the world, including Malaysia, Singapore, Haiti,
Parce que moi-même, m'espère quand même, ça m'a fait, pas fait l'envers.
the Philippines, and Mozambique. In June, a movie on Tzu Chi volunteers in Taiwan was released. In 2018, Tzu Chi volunteers in Taiwan served a total of over 18 million volunteer shifts to help those in need. The hours of their services could be translated to $380 million in terms of manpower cost.
Taiwan has more than 200,000 hectares of land that can be used by the timber industry. However, Taiwan's domestic timber market has been completely wiped out by imports. If Taiwan wants to boost the utilization rate of domestic materials, there are a number of actions that need to take place regarding government policy, industry, and public perception. Follow our report as we take a closer look at these issues.
At this largest log, which is 9.3 inches, you can cut 2 4-foot pieces.
In NTU's experimental forest lumber factory, Chen Yilong knows how to cut logs in order to maximize the utilization rate. He has 50 years of professional experience and not only considers the cost involved, but also how to cherish resources.
If it can be used, we try to use it and not waste anything. For example, this log has 10 potential uses, though I saw only 8 or 9. If you weren't skilled, you would only get 5 or 6 uses that you could use.
Taiwan's forest area is large enough, but Chen Yilong is reluctant to waste wood, which is related to his understanding of geography and the environment. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, 1,200 meters above sea level at Organise in Wufeng Township, Hsinchu County. In the clouds and fog, large forestry cooperatives started logging operations. Many forest sites in Taiwan are steep and industrial development is difficult.
Our domestic tree farms are probably in the high mountains. There are some places where the road cannot reach.
We can do development such as opening roads, so the cost of our logging is much higher than the cost in foreign companies.
The Forestry Bureau is striving to find ways to log more than 200,000 hectares of forest land and improve the quality of future logging. The Sustainable Forestry Diversity Counseling Program was launched in 2019. Tree farmers with a forest area of 30 hectares or more can apply for a number of subsidies for thinning and tending their trees, as well as production equipment and certification.
After 40 or 50 years, when the wood has grown and becomes the type of material that is mature, which we can harvest and use.
Unfortunately, the subsidy is not available to small tree farmers who have less than 30 hectares of forest. In the future, the Forestry Bureau will provide guidance for the establishment of forestry cooperatives, gathering small tree farmers together. Integration is the next step. While the government has boosted the timber industry with subsidies, environmentalists such as Professor Yang Guozhen has a different view.
Timber protection depends on subsidies for afforestation. So our entire afforestation operation is an economic activity, but it can't compare with all the money we have invested.
Yang Guozhen believes that the relevant government units shouldn't waste resources by choosing the right tree species in the right land.
Our previous policy said broadleaf trees were bad, so we planted conifers. And then these were bad and went back to broadleaf trees. Now what do we want to plant that we can use in 30 years?
However, at this stage in Taiwan's industry, environmental protection needs to be taken into account, and some say improving quantity may affect quality. NTU's experimental factory uses high-tech equipment to help produce precise wood products that can strengthen building structure. This opens a new path for domestic materials, but production costs are still high. In addition to cypress and hinoki cypress, there are other precious trees in Taiwan. Artificially planted tree farms have Calocedrus formosana, Zelkova, mahogany, and Griffith's ash have become common building and furniture materials. In particular, only Taiwania is a unique tree in the world.
Taiwania has pink, red, and yellow colors. It is a kind of wood that is relatively good for furniture and does not deform easily.
However, the growth rates of Taiwania and Calocedrus formosana are relatively slow, and harvesting may take more than 50 years. It requires foresight to engage in this forest industry.
Whether it is on a slope or on a gentle slope of the woodland, the tree roots still have the function of retaining soil and water before it rots, so we don't remove it.
In order to balance production and soil and water conservation, the industry has paid higher costs and obtained FSC international certification. 2019 Taipei International Building Show, Forestry Bureau online editors, the director of the NTU Experimental Forest, broadcast live on mobile phones to promote high-quality domestic materials.
Domestic wood was used to make this table, which is quite surprising.
The price of Taiwan's lumber is not low, but if local value can be found, there may be a way to promote it.
Domestic raw materials and local production will be more environmentally friendly and better than air and sea transport.
This may be part of a circular economy and can be used again when discarded.
If tree farmers manage the woodland well, the forest can also provide habitat for wild animals. If they manage the forest well, harvesting trees will still assist with water and soil conservation.
Planting trees and managing forests is a century-old enterprise that urgently requires cooperation from the government, industry, and private investment. Taking care of the environment and creating positive change requires hard work, depends on long-term persistence from all parties involved.
Dalian Tzu Chi Hospital hosted a youth medicine camp with Tainan Tzu Chi High School for children to learn medical knowledge from experiences. Take a look and see you next time.